Hello everyone, this is Ashley here from Ashley Original Art, and as you can see by these little blots that I'm painting, I want to give you some tips and tricks for how to paint some grapes. So I'm forming these grapes in an upside down triangle formation to replicate the way that the fruit grows, and some of the grapes on the edges will be painted in half circles because the grapes in front of them are covering the rest of their shape. Right now I'm taking a little bit of black ink and I'm painting a comma-like brushstroke on the underside of the grape to replicate an undershadow. This will help give the grape more dimension. And right now I'm taking a little bit of water and dabbing in the center of the grape. This creates a diffusion effect because the water will push the pigment off to the edges of the grape and leave the center a little bit lighter in tone. It adds more color gradient. And I'm currently adding another little bunch off to the side. Creates more interest in the composition when there's more than one bright blot of color. And I'm going to be replicating the comma brushstroke effect to create shadow underneath. I'm doing this while the grapes are still wet, so the shadow will diffuse into the rest of the body of the red grape, create a nice little gradation. And I want to get that bright little highlight spot in the center of the grape, so I had that water technique blotted in there again. So I'm moving on to the leaves. I'm creating some yellow in the center of the leaves for some highlights and some color transition. And I'm adding some of the darker greens in there while the leaves are still wet. So this will help with a colorful gradation. I'm adding a bunch of leaves around the composition. I want to fill the space, make it look like, there's a lot of things going on in this painting. And so I'm bunching together lots of different leaves that I will soon be connecting with the vine. And so I'm trying to place these leaves in such a way that it will lead your eye around the entire composition, and then the vines will be another way of having the viewer look over here or over there. And some of the vines and the lines will go behind the forms, so that helps add a little bit dimension. So there's a sense of the grapes are in the foreground, and then some of the leaves and some of the vines are in the background. So right now I am going to be adding darker values in between the grapes. So I'm using acrylic ink on rice paper, and when acrylic ink dries, it forms a sort of plastic film over the surface of the rice paper. So when the grapes are dry, I take a brush and with a darker value, add the shading in between. And most of the time, if it all works out, it doesn't interfere with what's already been painted on the grapes because they're protected by the dried plastic. So finally, I'm adding my little signature stamp, and I wanted to let you all know that you can view more art on my Facebook page, which is linked in the description, and paintings are available for purchase on Etsy. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned some tips and tricks for how to paint some grapes.